This is your mom's favorite show, Beer and Chill podcast. My name is Jan,
And I'm Craig.
and we would really appreciate if you would stop by and listen to our show. We are talking about interesting facts about your favorite movies, games, and TV shows.
For example, did you know that Christopher Lee and Ian McKellen had a real-life beef because Christopher Lee wanted to play Gandalf in Lord of the Rings?
And many other great facts.
We hope you check us out and enjoy the rest of your show. Bye-bye.
What's your favorite scary movie?
They mostly come at night. Mostly.
For God's sake, what happened to our eyes?
Your suffering will be legendary, even in hell.
They're here.
Welcome, victims, to the Horr-Gasm podcast. Kill the lights, lock the doors, get comfy, and prepare for the sexiest and scariest podcast around. I'm Nick, and with me is my co-host Ellie.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
Woo! We did it. We fucking made it through 2020.
Yes.
How?
I don't
Like,
know.
honestly, she was a close one.
Yep.
I'm so happy to be done with it.
It's like Final Girl 2020 at the end was like December was the final girl.
Yes.
Like each month
Ugh.
was a victim.
Yeah.
And you finally got to the end and yeah. If
Yeah.
20 was a horror movie, that's how it would be.
Yeah, we escaped.
Yep.
Ugh, proud of us.
We're awesome.
Yeah, I'm just so happy that it's 2021. I know that everybody's like, well, not everything fixes itself January 1st, 2021. Yeah, I know, but it's like every new year feels like a clean slate almost,
It does.
you know?
It does.
And like, I know, yes, technically any day could be a clean slate, but it's just like, everything's new, you're fine, like, you just can, like, get yourself in order again, and it's, 1-1, and you can start over.
Did you have any revolutions planned for this year? Yes, I know they're called resolutions, but I always called them revolutions due to, I think it was Beavis and Butthead.
No, not really, no. Just live life.
More horror
I don't
movies.
really do,
more horror movies. That's
yes.
a good resolution.
Oh, God, I don't know if I could do more than 2020.
Well, no, it's I try.
Yeah, sounds like a challenge, really. Yeah, I don't really do resolutions. Not really my thing, because it's just like,
Neither did I.
like, why, I don't know, so cynical, but it's like just, a reason to get let down, sort of, because nobody ever keeps their resolutions.
No, they don't.
No.
Like, why set yourself up for failure?
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
This year I'm
I
going
can
to...
fail all on my own, thank you very much. I don't need...
I don't need pressure to fail.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, and I just, like, everybody was, like, oh, 2020 is going to be our year, woo, and then 2020 sucked. So I'm trying not to put, not trying to put too much pressure on 2021.
So, and also, this is on social media. People are now saying that 2021 spells out 20201, WN, and then 2022 is 2020 part 2.
Oh, God.
So you got that to come, yeah.
Why'd you have to ruin it?
It's a gift.
Just like we're living in this, like, endless sequel of...
The 2020s, yeah.
Good Lord, yeah. That's fine.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. We're just gonna keep getting through it. That's all.
We got a podcast. That'll keep us going.
Woo! Yeah, we're resilient.
Yeah.
Us humans, we're like cockroaches. We just keep going. Yeah.
Yeah, we took a bit of a holiday break. Not on purpose. Just kind of like, you know what, holidays. Let's just,
Yeah.
fuck it.
I really got into Cyberpunk.
True.
Yeah.
You did.
And Hell's Kitchen. I feel like that's like my 2 personality traits the last 2 weeks.
And I've been worried about buying house stuff, and
Yeah.
life kind of jumped. 2020 like had a little bit of a last bit for us. So we're like, you know what, we'll just
Yeah. Just ride out the last bit of 2020 and then get back into the
get
saddle.
fresh, and into the podcasts.
Yes.
Other ones I've seen, like our good friends, Jan and Craig have been going hard on theirs. They didn't take a break. They're troopers.
Yeah.
They've had some good episodes.
Yes.
There's some really good episodes. Talking about Mandalorian.
Yes, I saw that one.
Yeah, all sorts of good stuff they've been talking about.
Yeah, they've been really good keeping up with it. I've been really enjoying their last few. You know, after they kind of got into it, and once you get into the groove,
Yeah.
you can always tell when people get into the groove, you know.
I think we hit ours by episode what? 25?
Oh, yes,
30?
of course.
Maybe 30?
Yeah, I think it's, well, I don't know, and we're used to, because we live with each other, we're used to talking all the time too, so I mean,
Yeah.
it's just like basically like sitting down, we sit down and have these conversations all the time anyways.
Exactly.
So we just throw in an intro and an outro and we call it a
We
podcast.
just bullshit our way through.
That's my whole life so far.
Totally.
Just bullshit my way through. Oh my god.
I want that on my tombstone.
Yes.
Nick Gennard, he bullshit his way through life. Perfect.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. I could go with that. That's like, honestly, like most jobs though, like even my job, all you have to do is like be confident in what you're saying.
Yeah.
Even if you're not 100%, like just make sure you're confident in what you're saying and you sound like you know what you're saying.
Yeah.
And then Google afterwards.
Google.
I don't think that people understand how much accountants use Google. Like, for real.
I'm sure how many people, everyone uses Google for something.
For jobs, yeah. For in jobs, like...
Oh, yeah.
Because you can literally Google anything and find it, you know? And, because, you know, especially, like, I'm in the world of accounting, but, like, rules are ever-changing and whatever, especially, like, this year with everything. So people will call and ask a very weirdly specific question, and I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm just going to ask my coworker and put them on hold and Google it.
Nice.
Because, you know, you can, but it's, you know, a lot of older clientele that don't know how to do that or don't have the facilities to do that. So it's like, you know, and then I just read it off of a web page and be like, yeah, this is exactly, I knew this, I just had to double check. And that's basically it. Yeah. That's my job.
So then, we'll transition here out of life into Talking Chop. We were going to do, our last episode was going to be Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yep.
That didn't happen.
Yep.
So we'll have a quick little chat about it here. We might do it later on down the road.
Yeah.
Maybe next year.
Yeah.
Next
something like that.
Christmas we'll do it. But
yeah, it's a good movie. It's good kids' movies.
It's a good, scary kid movie.
Yep.
So no, when we used to watch it all the time at your place.
Yep.
On VHS.
I loved it. Yeah.
We'd watch it repeatedly, but every time I'd watch it, I'd get a headache.
Weird.
I don't know why. Every time I watch a movie, I would get a migraine. But
yeah, I watched it a lot growing up. The Oogie Boogie always scared the shit out of me. Always. His animation style was so creepy, and it just, you know, his lair is like super dark and creepy.
And he glows in the dark.
Yes.
I thought that was cool. I like that feature.
Yes. Yeah, and he just always scared the bejesus out of me. So I was, whenever they'd get to the parts, I'd be like, don't love it. But also, I didn't like Sandy Claus.
I was going to say that, yeah.
Yeah, Sandy Claus and his weird little legs. I hated that.
And hands.
Yes.
Creepy.
Well, I have small hand Santa now.
Oh, you do too?
I bought a small hand Santa. He's sitting on my TV stand.
Creepy.
He does a cute little dance.
See, what got me when I first saw it was the opening credits with the little song they sing.
Yeah.
And they go through all the monsters. Like, there's one like under the bed. I'm like, what the hell is that?
Mm-hmm.
And then after I'm like, oh, okay, they're all just normal spooky characters.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing is that like...
Yeah, and the mayor with the spinny head.
I love the mayor, yeah. Yeah. I love that they made, you know, these like creepy characters that outwardly are like so creepy, but they're just people.
Yeah.
They're just vibing.
They love Halloween. Halloween
it's
is
just
their
their
life.
jam, yeah.
The doctor.
Yes.
Who kept opening up his head and he would scratch and play with his brain. So like half it out and put into some body that he made, some chick.
Yeah.
And what was the girl's name? Sally. Like her just jump off the roof.
Yes.
Off, from her huge, where she was, caged up.
Yeah.
And just sewed herself back on. I'm like, that's not fucked whatsoever.
And she's like stuffed with leaves.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, it it was just such a different movie, I think, and that's what I really liked about it.
And you must seen or read the connection they made between,
Yes.
I think
Like,
it's Frank and
Frank and
Weenie,
Weenie, yeah.
Corpse Bride,
Yep.
and Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
Because I think they were all done by Tim Burton.
Yeah, they were, yeah.
Yeah, and I think the connecting one is Zero.
Yes, you're right. Yeah, it's it's kind of cool, and it kind of relates to sort of kind of like the movie we watched today. We watched Hereditary, and where there's speculation that Ari Aster is connecting all the movies, but it's not confirmed. But
If he does, that's a great idea.
Right, it is kind of cool. But yeah, it's just one of those neat little things that kind of make it, I don't know, a little bit special almost.
Yeah.
And fan theories are always cool.
Yes, they're everywhere. Like
Oh my god.
fan theories, basically, they keep
Yes.
things alive. Like,
This is totally off topic, but I was watching a TikTok with Sean Austin,
oh yeah,
who plays Sam in Lord of the Rings.
yep.
Sorry, Jesus, I have something in my throat. And he said him and Elijah Wood read, like, when Lord of the Rings came out, read, like, all the fanfics about them.
Oh really?
All of them. And he's like, I loved them. He's like, I think fans are so creative. And they're like, oh, so, was Sam and Frodo gay? And he's like, well, I'm just going to say it's a long way to Mordor. That's all I'm going to say.
That's funny.
Yeah, and he's like, I just think it's creative, and people love your character so much, and the connection that you make with other characters, that they want to make something out of it. And he's like, why not? Like, people
Yeah.
are so creative, and people want to shit all over it, like, with, like, the Draco Harry stuff, or the Draco Hermione's another one, or any of that sort of stuff.
Harry, Ron.
Yes, but, like, why not? Like, it's just a fun thing.
Everyone's
Because you
got
just so badly in your head, you have,
Yeah.
like, a headcanon, right? And you want it to be real, so then, search it.
Everyone's got their kink. Everyone's got their little bit of fantasy. There's, on Twitter, there's this one person I follow who's very much with, from Dragon Ball Z, Goku and Vegeta being a couple.
Yep.
And, the ones I'd be like, no, that's wrong.
Or
But the other
it
side is
so
like,
wrong,
on
it's right.
the other hand.
Yeah.
May-
It's like, what if?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's with everything.
Right,
like,
exactly. Because you just want it to happen, or there's some weird tension, and you're like, are we about to kiss?
Or go the other way. We have like, what was it? There's in Alien vs Predator. There's a scene where the Predator looks at Lex, the character Lex, and it's like, they're gonna kiss. Like, because of a head tilt, and she
Yeah.
kind of like a little head nod. I'm like, a little bit of weird tension here. What's going on?
Wait a second.
Yeah.
What that second mouth do?
Whoa.
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 Whoa. Oh my god. But yeah, Nightmare Before Christmas, great kids movie.
Oh, totally. And it's good. And it's a classic.
Yes.
It is one of the most well-loved and enjoyable Disney movies out there, being a little more adult.
And I think it's very relatable. This is, again, going to sound really cryptic and cynical, but, Jack being, living his whole life doing the same thing and feeling like he doesn't belong and like there's something else. And he has to, he wants to try to find something else to make him different. Almost, like just that feeling of not belonging, sort of.
I don't know if it was not belonging. It was more just, it's the same thing over and over.
Yeah.
And over. It's the same thing over. Nothing new. He needs something fresh.
Yes.
He was burnt out.
Yeah.
How many times are you going to pop up and go, I'm the Pumpkin King. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Like, he was tired. He was tired.
Right.
He was done.
Yeah.
And that's when he went for his walk, and he's like, ooh, what's this? And he finds Christmas Land. And, he's like, oh, I'll take it over.
Yeah, exactly.
I can do it too. I'll just throw a spin and have horrible, scary presents for kids, like a giant snake that eats people.
Yes.
And, again, back to the scary parts. That was creepy.
So The toy part was one of
ducks,
the creepiest.
the
I
bloody
was just
duck.
going to say the duck with teeth.
Yeah.
Scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But it's a good movie. The claymation, like the animation.
That was
so cool.
so well done. And
So good.
Was that supposed to be a live action movie at
Yes.
first?
It was.
I thought so.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been terrifying.
Terrifying.
Or really bad.
Yeah. Oof.
Pick one. It would have been either bad, or sorry, good scary,
Yeah.
or terrible kind of scary.
Exactly. Ugh. But yeah. Sorry we missed it. We'll maybe do it. I was gonna say next year, but this year.
Yeah, I think Nightmare became the new
Lake House LLC.
Lake House LLC. Yeah.
Oh my god, that's so funny you say that, because every time I go on to Shudder, it's my top recommended, and I'm like, listen, nobody asked you.
Yeah.
Just like trying to guilt us into watching it. But I mean, it's coming up faster than we'd expect.
It is.
We're eventually gonna watch it. I actually watched the beginning of it again the other day. I was like, no, I can't. It just feels wrong. Oh my god. But we should get into Hereditary.
I think so.
Peter! Peter, what's wrong? Peter, are you all right?
Can he breathe?
Peter, what are you doing here?
All right, so this week we watched Hereditary. It's a 2018 movie, and it's directed and written by Ari Aster, obviously.
Yep. And he's also known for Midsummer.
Yep.
And what else?
Not
Thought
a
those
lot else. Those are like the top two.
Okay, I thought there was one
Basically.
more he was known for.
Could be.
I may be heckin' mistaken.
I'm just looking here. There's one called Munchausen. Is on his top. Not sure why.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, well. Well, where did you first hear about this movie?
I heard actually back pre-COVID in the year of 2018, when you could
yes.
go see movies, I saw the preview in theaters over and over and over again, and every time I was like, that looks fucking terrifying.
I'm trying to remember the trailer.
It's all Charlie. Like it's
Yes.
Millie Shapiro
I
and
read-
all of the trailers.
I read through the trivia that they wanted to keep Charlie's premature death secret, so they just heavily
Spoiler alert.
heavily in the trailer.
Yeah.
Also, a little story. I think it was I forget where, in the States or somewhere in Europe. They played the trailer for the movie ahead of some animated Peter Rabbit movie.
Yes, I saw it in Rainbow ahead of a kids movie.
And I guess parents and kids were running out there as fast as they can because they were so scared.
It's a really... I'll play the trailer for you after.
Okay.
It's creepy. And it's just like you don't expect it to be that creepy, but like it's, again, he plays with the lights and the sounds and
Yes.
just the menacingness.
Yeah, we were
It's like-
talking during and after just how well done this movie was. And
Yes.
it gets a lot of hate online.
I agree.
People don't like it because it's a slow build.
Yes.
It's a very slow burn, but at the end, when that burn ignites, it burns hard, fast, and it goes.
And people find it to be, I was telling you this before, it's kind of a pretentious horror movie. Whereas they're more worried about, like the lighting and stuff. It's not so much jump scares. And people really pumped it up because they thought it was a good movie. And people are like, as soon as you say something's a good movie, people want to find something wrong with it.
Yes. And it was a huge success.
Yes.
On a 10 million budget, it grossed 80 million.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's huge. That's a
huge.
good profit.
Yeah.
And that shows that people
Especially for a
were-
horror movie.
Yes. I don't know what the rating was for it, but let me do a quick peek here.
Oh, sorry, I was yawning there. Oh my god.
It doesn't even say the rating. Okay, whatever.
I'm sure it was R. It had to have been R.
Yeah, for the language alone, it would have been R.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I don't have it here either.
Yeah,
Weird.
That's why it doesn't have it on.
Yeah.
You'd
I
think
don't
in
know.
Wikipedia they would show, oh, this movie is rated so and so.
And they changed the layout of IMDb, so I can't even.
Yeah.
Lame. But, oh, it says certified 14A.
Oh.
Huh.
Huh.
Interesting.
Oh well.
But, yeah, it's, I think that Toni Collette makes this movie.
Yep.
That's just I think that she's a fantastic actress. And I think she's really underrated. But, she's still a big actress, but I just, like, people who don't know Toni Collette, like, I can't believe, because she is so phenomenal. She's just, yeah, really interesting. And the guy who plays Peter, too, I was telling you, he's in the new Jumanjis with The Rock.
Yes. Yes.
And The Rock actually technically plays him in quotations when they go into Jumanji.
Yeah, I was looking at her movies in for this. She was in Krampus.
Yep.
She was in the mystery film Knives Out.
Mm-hmm.
Shaft. She was in Shaft.
Mm-hmm.
That's impressive. Yeah. Those are some big ones.
Yeah, she was in a movie with Jennifer Aniston. She played her sister. It was like a long time ago, but yeah, she played like her, I don't know, stuck-up sister, kind of, I guess. And that's the first movie I ever watched with her. Yeah, it was, yeah, it's a good movie, though. I think that what I like about it is what people didn't like about it, with, like, the foreshadowing, the sounds, all that kind of stuff.
And there's a lot.
Yes.
Because this is my first time watching it.
Right.
And I kind of, with the trivia as I watch, I'm like, a little bit of spoilers in there, but
yeah,
you kind of get ahead, get an idea of what's going on, but you don't see some of the stuff that's left out.
Right.
So it was.
We're good.
Okay, just checking.
Sorry, my computer's trying to restart. Start later.
No, stop it. We're recording.
Pick a time. I'll pick a time. Okay. It's still recording. Don't worry. You just
That's
keep
fine.
going.
I'm gonna keep it saying because it's fun. But yeah, it was.
Oh my god.
Really, this is a well done movie. I get where the hate's coming from. I really do, because Western horror fans are so used to the mountain type of horrors where you got plot, jump scare, or scare.
Yes.
And then plot, a little more plot, scare, and a little more drama, scare.
Yes.
And it's like in waves.
Yes.
Whereas this was built up like our beloved Japanese and Asian horror, where it's a slow build.
Yes.
And it's not like, little peaks here and there. It's a slow start, a slow beginning. But when it gets to the end, or gets to where they want to get you, they get you hard. And there's even little spots here and there they throw in there. A few spots, don't say got me.
Yeah.
In this movie, one especially we'll talk about later, but when I think it's Peter is having he's asleep and he hears his sister clicking, and opens his eyes and she's in the corner, and her head falls off.
Yes.
And it's a ball. I'm like, that was a good one.
Yes.
I like that.
Yes.
And just some of the music, just the music was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
The pacing for the music, the build up.
I find the music, but also the absence of music.
Yes, you said it before too, and I didn't get to that yet.
I love that. I feel like you don't always have to have music. Sometimes and this is very, a saying, but the silence is deafening. Like,
yes.
know.
And this is, talk about later, but when I saw it, I got chills. I'm like, whoa, that's weird.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I can picture it now if they put like a little, like the classic screechy violin sound or anything that will kind of accentuate the scene. It would have worked, but also would have cheapened it.
Exactly.
Because I would have lost the creepiness factor.
Like
I would have focused on the sound. The sound would have scared me, not what I saw. With no sound, it's the sight that scares you, and that lasts.
Like, sometimes you just need to let the creep be like something scary.
Yes.
You just need to let it be what it is, and be like almost be like, did I just see that? Like, is that actually what just happened? Yeah. Because that's almost creepy, too, is they're like, especially with this movie, where their minds are almost starting to deteriorate, and they question if what's happening is when they're awake, am I dreaming, am I sleepwalking, am I hallucinating, like, I don't know. And then you kind of start to think, like like, are they just putting stuff there? Like, what, am I okay? Like, yeah, I love that. I especially love cult movies, and I will forever say this. I love cult movies.
You really do.
I do. Cult and found footage, I find, are two of my favorite movies. And we're doing a cult month in a while, which I threw up because I just love cult movies.
That's fine.
Because that I love movies that are like, yes, I love these kind of movies where it's like demons and possession and all that. Great. But I also love where it's like people are bad. You know, sometimes I don't think you need that extra sprinkle of spice. I think people are evil too.
Oh, yes.
And that bit of realism makes it so much creepier.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's why I liked this movie where they combined that, like, possession with cult stuff, with real stuff, with, you know, exorcism. Well, not really exorcisms, but, like... Seances. Yeah, all that kind of stuff, so... Oh, yay.
Well, should we get into the cast?
Yes.
Okay, so... This movie stars Toni Collette as Annie Graham, a miniatures artist.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She's a miniatures artist. I love miniatures.
Yeah.
There's a miniature world in Victoria, BC, and it's so cool. Except there's a doll part. I'm not good with dolls.
No.
Dolls are like my one thing. I can't do dolls.
We have Gabriel Byrne as Steve Graham.
Yep.
Psychiatrist and Annie's husband.
Oh, he's a psychiatrist.
Apparently. Well, that explains where she get her pills from.
Yep.
Alex Wolff as Peter Graham, Annie and Steve's 16-year-old son.
Yeah, he's good.
Millie Shapiro as Charlie Graham, Annie and Steve's 13-year-old daughter.
She's fantastic. I follow her on TikTok. I was telling you that. I just love her. She's so cool. She's so quirky in real life. She's so sweet. Yeah.
She did a great job in this movie. She really did.
Amazing, yeah.
Anne Dode as Joanne, a support group member who befriends Annie. And Mallory Bechtel.
Sure.
As Bridget, Peter's schoolmate and love interest. Why is she in her? She had maybe three scenes and that was it.
Yeah. Huh.
And you know, as we will get into it, she really had... They could have done something with her.
Yes, for
in
sure.
the movie. They could have had scenes with her having an interaction with Peter.
Yeah.
But they
I wonder
didn't.
if there are deleted scenes to this.
This was supposed to be, I guess, 3 hours long, but they cut out a lot of family stuff.
Oh.
A lot of the family interactions. So, which, you know, I get it. That would have really, I think that would have killed the pacing and dragged it out.
Yeah, I like the pacing in it. I just wish that we would have gotten a bit more, I think, between, like, Steve and the family. Because I feel like Steve was just such a secondary character. Like, the dad. He was just there, basically.
Yeah, it was kind of a loser.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I agree 100%. Yeah, the cast was good. I mean,
it was a good cast.
They're pretty, like, I actually don't know the character who plays Steve.
Neither do I.
Yeah. But I know who Toni Collette is, obviously. And the guy who played Peter was in Jumanji. And then Millie Shapiro I follow on TikTok, but I don't know. Yeah. She doesn't do a lot of other stuff, but...
In this movie, Alex Wolff as Peter had some wild eyebrows.
Yes. Yeah, he's got those thick boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Toni, she pulls off ugly sad very well.
Yeah, she's got that ugly cry down.
She does. She got the ugly. She had the. I don't think she's ugly, but her sad, her upset face is this very.
It's like Sarah Paulson. Do you know who Sarah Paulson is? She mostly does American Horror Story. That's why.
Oh, I can't pull a face to the name.
She's known for her crying.
Yeah. But like her face is very.
Animated.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes. I call it ugly crying because she just looks.
That's what it is, though.
Rough.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that when you ugly cry? Yeah. And she pulls off manic very well too.
Oh,
like,
she does.
Where it's like, no, like you need to believe me, and like panicked, and you know, like that crazy look sort of that like in horror movies you get where you're like just panicking and freaking out and trying to make people believe you, and. She just pulls it off so great. Like, it's just really good acting.
And her, like, realization of it when she has that dream with her...
Yes. Oh my god, I know.
Let's get into it. Let's get into the plot.
Yeah, I
so
was
we can talk
gonna
about this
say
stuff.
there's so much. Oh my god, this movie is heavy. There's lots of heavy topics in it.
There is.
Like they talk about like suicide and miscarriages and like, divorce, like not loving your spouse, and lots of like children
Cult.
death and
Cult
stuff. Cult stuff.
So, the movie starts. Artist Annie Graham lives in Utah with her husband Steve, their 16-year-old son Peter, and their eccentric and reserved 13-year-old daughter Charlie. At the funeral of her secretive mother, Ellen Lee,
I think.
Annie delivers a eulogy explaining their fraught relationship and her mother's extremely private life. A week later, Steve is informed that Ellen's grave has been desecrated, and Annie thinks she sees an apparition of Ellen in her workshop.
Oh yeah, that was creepy.
Yes. At a support group for the bereaved, Annie reveals that the rest of her family suffered from mental illness that resulted in their deaths, and Ellen was a significant figure in raising Charlie. So we find out that Annie had a brother,
Yes.
and he went a little crazy and killed himself after saying that his mother, or their mother, put voices and bodies inside him.
Her mom was putting things inside of him.
Yeah.
And he didn't like it. And before that, her mom's husband, I guess her dad, died as well.
Yes.
By, how did he die again?
I forget.
Something suspicious.
Super sus.
Super sus. He vented.
He vented.
And then the brother self-reported. Oh my god, I'm sorry. I can't. Jeez.
To attend a party, Peter lies that he is going to a school event.
So, just to intercut really
That's
quick
fine.
here, how he's invited is his friend texts him and says, "Bring your dick." So, the rest of the movie, Nick and I are making jokes about it. Bring your dick.
Yeah. Anyone drives somewhere, does she got her dick?
Yeah.
How about that guy's dick? Does he have a dick with him?
That's funny now when you think of the end of the movie.
Is. Yes, it is. And also a little more. We get a little more backstory. We show. We find out that Peter's he's a pothead.
Yep.
And there's one classmate he's got a bit of a crush on. You can tell.
Yes.
Charlie's she's a different girl.
Very weird. Yeah.
She
makes things with trash.
Yes. Yeah. She creates lots of different things and
draws
a lot.
Yeah.
Sketches people.
Yeah.
And she also has a habit of cutting off a bird's head. That's smacked into the window.
Yep.
And and also because the mom, she has miniatures. She has miniatures of like a whole house of events. Mm-hmm. It's really cool. That's a cool opening scene.
Yes. So. Yeah, and it transitions from miniatures to the real world. Like
very well done.
Yeah, very cool.
So to attend a party, Peter lies he's going to a school event, and Annie forces him to take Charlie with him.
Yeah, which is weird because she doesn't have a dick, but whatever.
Unsupervised, Charlie eats cake containing nuts and falls into anaphylactic shock. We kind of found out earlier that Charlie's got some peanut allergy or nut allergy. It's not fully explained. It's just... the
only time it's mentioned is when they're at the funeral and she's eating a chocolate bar and her dad says, "Are there nuts in that?"
She's like, "Nope."
And she's like, "No." He's like, okay. So you don't really pick up on it until afterwards, I guess.
Yeah, it's kind of... I kind of picked up because I'm like...
right.
Yeah. As Peter drives her to the hospital, because he's there trying to hook up with the girl, and he's in her room smoking the weeds.
Woo!
She leans out the window for air. When he swerves to avoid a dead deer, she is decapitated by a telephone pole.
Yes.
In shock, Peter drives home and leaves Charlie's corpse in the car. Which I saw coming.
Yeah.
Because he parked it, walked inside, went to bed, left the body in the vehicle,
yeah,
left the head on the side of the road, and in the morning you see him in the bed, eyes open, you hear the mom, she's going to go
I gotta run out, yeah.
And then you hear the door open, the gasp, and then the scream, and the wailing, and I think this is one of the most accurate descriptions of a mother's grief of their child dying.
Yes, right.
She's basically in, not fetal, but she's in, what's that yoga pose?
It's the child's pose, actually.
Yeah, she's in child's pose, for yoga. Her husband's next to her, just holding her, and she is screaming, I want to die.
Yeah, I just
can't
want
take
to
the
die.
pain. I just want to die. I can't survive this.
Yeah.
And I saw that, I watched it, I'm like, this is pretty much 100% right.
Right.
This is how women, or even parents, react.
Yes.
And
It's like you feel like your heart is breaking. Yeah.
Yeah, a very important part of you is gone,
Yes.
and you are shattered.
Yeah.
Though
They always say the hardest thing is a parent burying their child.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Right? Ugh. Because it's just like not the order of things.
Nope.
And you never think that you're going to have to do it. Ugh. No. You just like, you can feel her grief.
Yes.
And she is just...
And she does a fantastic job showing that on the screen.
Right.
That's top-notch acting. There's over-the-top shit, and then there's this, which is accurate.
Yes.
In my opinion, anyway.
Like, it looks over the top, but believable.
Yeah,
and
100%.
how it should be. Yes, right.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
The family grieves following Charlie's funeral, heightening tensions between Annie and Peter and causing Annie to behave coldly towards Steve. Peter is plagued by Charlie's presence around the house. Mm-hmm. So he hears the clicks now and then, because Charlie had like a little habit of like just...
Yeah.
That's all that she would do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Annie's befriended by support group member Joan.
Yes.
Annie tells her she used to sleepwalk and recounts an incident in which she woke up in Peter's bedroom to find herself, Peter, and Charlie covered in paint thinner with a lit match in her hand.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, okay, so why would she do that? Was that her trying to stop what was going to happen? Do you think? Could that have been, or is that just...
I'm not sure, because it does happen more than once. It's almost more foreshadowing. Mm-hmm. Hey?
Yeah. Because I don't think she was possessed or anything.
No.
Because that would have been very counterproductive to the plan.
Right.
Could have been her brother. Mm-hmm. Could have been her dad. I wonder what...
Yeah.
They never... Again, it's something they could have touched on a little more.
Yeah.
The sleepwalking, but...
Yeah, I agree.
Whatever.
And almost like the hallucinations, and like, is it just because you're in proximity to Payman? Like, is that what produces these, like...
Who knows?
Visions and stuff?
I don't know. Joanne teaches Annie to perform a seance to communicate with Charlie.
Right.
Which is, again, a great scene.
Oh,
where,
so good.
And again, great acting by
Toni Collette.
Yeah. Where, she's a woman she met and they had a little chat before. She runs up and she's like, it sounds crazy, but listen to me. She's so excited. And her skepticism is great until something happens.
Yes.
And then she reacts like, what the hell? And then became, oh my goodness. Mm-hmm. This could be something good for me.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's one of those things, but anything with, to a rational brain, something irrational is like, no, that's not real. That's not real. That's not a thing. And it's like, oh, wait, but what if it is? And you just have that minute of hope of like, what if I could talk to my daughter again?
I was going to say that. It's all purely fueled by hope.
Yes.
One last chance. I get to have one more moment.
One more conversation. Yes.
I would do anything. I would, give up my soul for that one last.
Exactly. Yep.
Exactly. Annie convinces her family to attempt the seance. Objects begin to move and break, terrifying Peter, and Charlie seemingly possesses Annie until Steve douses her with water.
Yes.
Annie suspects that Charlie's spirit has become, I should have the person. Malevolent? Yes, thank you. Okay, I was close.
Yeah.
She throws Charlie's sketchbook into the fireplace, but her sleeve also begins to burn. Mm-hmm. She retrieves it and heads to Joanne's apartment for advice, but Joanne is gone.
Right.
Annie notices that Joanne's welcome mat resembles her mother's craft work, which she mentioned before too.
Yes.
When she first goes to her apartment.
Yes.
She's like, oh, my mom used to do something similar. Like, oh, really? That's nice. How about that?
Crazy, hey?
What a coincidence. It is also revealed that rituals inside the apartment involve pictures of Peter.
Yes.
And we also see, during, before the scenes of this, there was a triangle in
Her mom's
her
room.
mom's old room.
Yep.
And there was this also when at their mom's funeral, there was a necklace on her with
Right.
some weird, we'll call it like a design.
Like symbol, yeah.
Yes. Also, I wonder what that woman put on her lips.
I don't know. It's not really explained.
No,
but it's
again, more things were just kind of,
Yeah.
Whatever.
just called stuff.
Called stuff. Annie goes through her mother's possessions and finds a photo album linking Joanne to Ellen.
Mm-hmm.
And a book with information about a demon named Paimon. Paimon?
Yeah, Payman.
Paimon.
Yeah.
Who wishes to inhabit the body of a male host.
Mm-hmm.
In the attic, Annie finds Ellen's decapitated body with occult symbols on the wall written in blood.
Yes.
And just again, this is like a movie full of foreshadowing. They always say something stinks in the house. Why is the house smelling? And now I know why. There's a dead, decomposing body in the attic.
Yeah. That'll do it.
Yep. At school, Peter slams his head against his desk, breaking his nose, and is brought home. And he's having more rough times. Like he,
oh my god.
he's kind of just sitting in the class, and you see through if you went through the movie, like there's a light that kind of goes around.
Yeah,
it's not like it's a float.
flashes
It kind of
and- yeah.
it goes along the walls. It's like
like a reflection almost.
yeah, it's like it starts at one point and it kind of expands out around and then shrinks down again.
Yes.
And he sees that, he looks into a mirror and he sees himself, his reflection, smiling at him. He's definitely not smiling.
Mm-hmm.
And then this part where he slams against his desk, he's also really upset by this whole death of his sister. He feels really guilty.
Of course.
There's also a dream that Annie has where there's ants in her bed.
Yeah.
And she follows the ants to Peter's room, and there's just a bunch of ants on his face, on his mouth, and again, her expression.
Yes.
Fucking phenomenal expression.
Yes.
There's no sounds, just her mouth open, kind of gasping, and then
And then he like bolts up in
he
bed.
wakes up and he's like, "Mom, what are you doing?" She's like, "Huh? What?" And she's like, "What's going on?" And they have a little bit of a talk, and she kind of confesses that she didn't want to have him.
Yeah,
she was
she's
gonna
like,
have him.
I didn't want to be your mom.
Yeah, I didn't want to have you at all. I tried not to have you. He's like, "What do you mean?" And he freaks out.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Well, I tried to have a miscarriage. Yeah, I did anything to miscarriage you." And he's like, "Why do you want to kill me, Mom?" And then she's got like water on her. He's wet. She lights a match, and then the whole room goes in flames.
Yes.
She wakes up to it like it was a nightmare.
Yes.
And great scene. And then later on, he has one similar where he wakes up and he sees Charlie in the corner, and her head kind of just, doing the sound.
Yeah.
Her head falls off in this little ball.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, "What the heck?" And then these hands come from
like his bed, like his bedboard,
which is
or his
against the
headboard,
wall,
Yes.
and he's trying to pull his head off.
Yes.
And his mom runs in. He's like, "What's wrong? What's going on?" And he's like, "You tried to pull my head off." She's like, No. That was not me."
Mm-hmm.
And this is when she's figuring out that something's wrong.
Yes.
She messed up, and she's trying to find out how to fix it.
Exactly.
So it's great foreshadowing.
Really good.
Really good.
Oh yeah.
So at school, Peter bangs into his desk, breaks his nose, and is brought home. Annie shows Steve her mother's body and the sketchbook. She begs him to burn the sketchbook so she can sacrifice herself to stop the haunting.
Mm-hmm.
But he thinks she has gone mad and accuses her of desecrating Ellen's grave herself. Steve sucks.
Yeah, Steve sucks.
He is very close-minded.
Yes.
Annie throws the book into the fireplace. Steve bursts into flames and Annie is possessed.
Dun dun dun.
Peter awakens to find his father's body burnt to a crisp.
Yes.
And okay, so this is where
this is the part.
This is again, he wakes up and he's kind of sits up. He's like looking around. No music, no nothing. Very quiet.
It's just quiet.
He looks one way, and Annie, it's like she's swimming through air.
Yes, she's just like
Through
in
the
the
door.
corner of his room, like in the roof, kind of, and she just like swims to the door. You're right.
Yeah,
Like floats.
and that got me.
Yes.
I was like, it didn't scare me, but I was like, what the hell was that? I knew what it was, but
Right.
just the no sound and the movement was very, very
Like
creepy.
jarring, yes.
And I'm like, okay, we're into the end game now.
Yeah, here we go.
This is where things can get a little goofy.
Yep.
And again, like I said now before, if they had music there, I would be the focus on the music, and it would maybe not even have as much of an effect as
I agree.
it did with no music, no sound, just through.
Yep.
And
let it happen.
even now, just think about it, I got goosebumps. Great scene, great visual, great. That's how you do it right, in my
Yes.
opinion.
And then so he goes downstairs. He's trying to find somebody. So, and this is one of my favorite parts where there's no break in the camera. We go right from his room. We're following him. He goes into one of the rooms. I forget. I think it's Mom's miniature room or something.
Yes.
And the camera follows him in and then follows him back out. Like there's no break.
Yeah,
We're just following him
he closes
now.
Charlie's room door because it was
Yeah.
open, and then he goes downstairs, sees his father's dead body and by the fireplace.
And again, in the background, Annie is in like the rafters of the roof.
Yeah,
Just
she's in the top corner,
just there.
just stuck.
Yep,
and
not
watching,
moving.
just watching.
Yep. And then he turns around because the rafters creak, so he turns around and she's not there. And then she like fucking comes out of the corner of the room like
Nope. First, there's the guy who we see at the funeral who smiles
yes!
who smiles at Charlie. We're like, that
Oh,
guy's
yeah, the
creepy
naked guy.
AF. And just some guy in the corner, naked, just
Yep.
smiling. And
Yep.
then Annie runs out of the corner and chases.
Oh my, like she just comes out of the shadows
Yeah.
and just like bolts after him and he is screaming. So then
Yeah.
he runs into the attic
Yeah.
and closes it real quick so she can't get up there. And he starts crying like, Mom, please
Mommy."
stop. Mommy,
And
Mommy.
you just hear it bang, 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 bang,
Oh,
repeatedly. And I'm
yes.
thinking, what is she doing? And we see her. She is on the ceiling, banging her head repeatedly against that door.
Yes.
And again, that didn't scare me, but I thought, again, that's a fucking great visual.
Yes.
No music, no nothing. You just hear the banging of her, and you see her just smash her head against that door trying to get it open.
Yes.
Love it.
And you're like, because it's like kind of been
Great
like
visual.
realistic in quotation things up till then. And then all of a sudden, there's a lady crawling through the rafters and banging her head on the ceiling. Like, what?
And it's that unnerving,
Yes.
very, that's not normal. You shouldn't-
Exactly.
For one, you should be on the ceiling like that. But just to be, just repeatedly smashing her head,
Yes.
it's a great scene.
It is.
Love it.
Yeah.
So Annie chases into the attic, which is decorated with occult imagery. Levitating Annie. Again, there's people in the room.
Yes.
You see Annie beheads herself with a piano wire as naked coven members look on.
Yes.
And she's just floating up there, and you hear it first. Because,
the squelch.
yeah, Peter's looking around. He's just kind of, what the hell? This is weird. And you hear the squelchy sound, and then you look up and you see Annie there, and she kind of slowly and then it gets real fast.
Yes.
And
Peter's like,
yeah.
fuck this.
Yeah, Peter
and
jumps out the window.
window.
Yeah. As he lies on the ground, a light enters his body, and he wakes up.
Also, you can hear you can still
Yes.
hear the squelching.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden they're silent, and then you hear the thud.
You hear a thud,
Yeah.
which I
And then
love.
the body comes out.
Yep.
So then the light goes
I guess
into.
that was
Yep.
it.
Yep, the light goes into
I wonder what that
Peter's
shadow
body.
was.
Yep. And her body, now her headless body, floats out the window, down their like front path and up into Charlie's treehouse.
Yeah, Charlie's little treehouse where
Yeah.
she just goes and hangs out.
And then Peter decides he's fine now.
Yeah.
Now he's possessed, so he's fine.
He goes on the ground, a light enters his body, he wakes up.
Yeah.
He follows Annie's levitating corpse into Charlie's treehouse, where Charlie's crowned, severed head rests atop a mannequin.
Yep.
Joanne, other coven members, and the headless corpses of his mother and grandmother bow to him. Joanne addresses him as Charlie.
Yep.
And swears an oath to him as Pyman.
Yep.
I remember that part. He calls her Charlie?
Yep.
I remember that. stating that he has been liberated from his female host and is free to rule over them.
Hooray!
The end.
Yeah, and he's just like doesn't even react. So
No, it's almost like Paimon is kind of like in shock. He's in not culture shock, but he's trying to kind of customize where he's at now.
right, exactly. Yeah.
Because it's tough being a demon and possessing different bodies.
Yeah, being one of the, 8 princes of hell or whatever,
Yes.
and coming to the human world.
Yeah. So we find out basically, long story short, the whole plot was the grandmother was part of a cult,
Yes.
and she tried to get Paimon into her son.
Yes.
Her son didn't go along with that and killed himself.
Right.
After being misdiagnosed as like a
Schizophrenic, yeah.
And I think the dad killed himself because he was, this is dumb.
Yeah.
And
So do you think the demon was hanging out in the grandma then for a bit? Because during the meeting she says that she has DID. So that must be something like that, hey?
Could've.
Before she gives it to Charlie?
But also, when I read with the trivia, and also said in the movie when Peter was born, Annie didn't let him near his grandma whatsoever.
Exactly, yeah.
At all. Like, she got nothing
Yeah.
from that. And then when Charlie was born, she gave her basically to the grandma.
Yes.
And we find out that, I think it was, I read, it was implied that Paimon was in Charlie the entire
right.
time, up to those 13 years.
Yep.
And that's not what he wanted. He
Right.
wanted to be in a male body.
Right.
And when I think the grandma died, she kind of set up the things in motion to
Right.
get the demon out of
Charlie.
and into Peter.
Yes.
And also when she's going through her her mom's books and finds about Paimon, it explains how the host has to be in severe distress.
Yes.
And they do this this is all to break Peter.
Yes.
So they have him, and this is Charlie's death was set up.
Yes.
His family breaking apart was set up. The seance was set up to put more stress on him.
Exactly. To get him vulnerable enough to enter him.
The death of his father and mother in front of him was like the kicker.
Yeah.
And just having bad things happen to him.
Yes.
Made it worse and worse and worse and worse for him.
Right.
Finally, when his mom was killed herself or sawing her head off, he snapped. He jumped out the window, and I don't know if he died, but it was implied that he's now easy pickings for Paimon.
Exactly.
And I went in, and this is my home now. So yeah.
Yay.
This is a really good movie.
Yeah.
This is better than I thought. It gets a lot of unnecessary hate. I really do believe that.
That's why it's one of those movies where I either heard people say they loved it or hated it, and I was like, I'm just gonna go in with an open mind and just watch it and appreciate it for what it is. And I was like, wow, I really like that. And I didn't want to hype it up too much for you, but I did really like it. And when I watched Midsummer, I was like, yeah, it's like Midsummer, and you can tell it's by the same director.
There's a lot
with
of
the
nudity.
imagery.
He's not afraid of the nudity and getting out of his movies. So how would you rate this movie?
I'd probably give it a 4. I really like it. It's just the sound and stuff for me. It just, and just the creepiness. And, it's exactly like what you said. With Eastern horror, I feel is never scared to take it one step further and really go there with, hot topics and stuff. Yeah. And I felt like this one was the same way. And I really like this movie.
Yeah, like the Asian horror, they focus not just on the visual horror, but the everything.
Yeah.
The senses. They go for your sight fear, your smell fear. But whereas Western horror is more all in your face at once.
Right.
They just kind of try and overload you with information and shit to scare you.
Yep.
Eastern horror, or the more other ones we've seen, like the Japanese, the Korean horror. They build. They throw some stuff in here and there, but just to keep you on your toes and not be too bland.
Right.
But.
And I don't need my senses to be assaulted for it to be a good movie. I just don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate.
I'd rate it 3.5.
Interesting.
It's
Yeah.
a really good movie. Like the
Yeah.
music was top notch.
Yes.
The pacing, I get the pacing. I get
Yeah.
people don't like it because it's slow.
Exactly. And when
It's
you're
a-
so used to it being like faster, right? From
Like,
what
compare-
you're used to.
Like comparing this movie to like Friday the 13th.
Totally.
Friday the 13th, you have multiple kills, you get multiple, lead up to this was first kill, okay, and then we'll reset.
Yep.
Lead up to the next kill, okay, reset.
Yep.
Whereas this is just one good, long, gradual, get to that major point.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, 3.5. It's great acting. Like,
Really good.
yeah, Tony did a great job.
Mm-hmm.
She really playing Annie. She did fantastic.
I agree.
Peter did a great job looking disheveled and kind of freaking out.
Yep.
So it was all great actors, but all.
Yay! I'm glad you liked it.
It's a good horror movie. It's a good demon possession movie.
It's a good watch. It's not one I'd start somebody on because it's pretty heavy.
Yeah.
But it's one of those ones where it's like if you want a really good quality that's like super spoopy, definitely.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yay. And Kill the Flick.
Kill Flick.
Icky, yeah.
Icky's-
She watched most of it. She actually got scared, so she
She
hid under
did.
the blankets for a while.
She went under the blankets with you.
Yep.
She didn't. This scared her.
Yeah.
But she was around for Annie's death, and that gets Kill the Flick.
Yes.
Just because that was the most graphic and had the most impact.
Yes. I agree.
And it was, we talked about it being Charlie's death, the head to the telephone pole. But it was too quick. There's nothing to it.
Yes.
The only thing I saw was the head after the next day, bloody with ants.
Which is creepy, but
Yeah.
that's not the actual death.
No.
The actual death is fast, and it's very impactful.
You don't see
but
anything after.
Yeah.
You don't see the body. And I didn't get to talk
Exactly.
about that, where the way Peter reacts to, because he there's a hit, he stops
Yeah.
the vehicle, and he's like in shock.
Yeah.
And you get his vision for a second as it creeps up to the rearview mirror, and he goes right back to the steering wheel.
Yep.
I'm like, bingo.
Yes.
That is accurate.
Yep.
And I put myself in his shoes, I'd feel the same way.
100% believable, yes.
Like, it's like the poor guy, he goes through so much shit in this movie.
Like, what are you going to do? Go pick up the head? No.
Exactly. Like, he just drove off home.
Yes.
And he was going to say, are you okay? And he kind of calmed himself. He's like, okay. He knew what happened.
Yep. Yep.
But he couldn't bring himself to look or deal.
yeah.
He ran away.
Yes. Oh, creepy. Good. Good movie. And next week, we're watching a much anticipated one.
Much requested
Yes.
from Tasia, one of our diehard listeners.
Yeah.
Our diehard victims. Yeah, she's been begging for I don't know what it's called.
Reanimator.
Thank you.
I was like, we just talked about it.
I know. I'm tired.
Yeah, and I
Reanimator.
just watched this like less than a month ago, and I really liked it. It's bizarre. Like it's very bizarre.
And I remember this. Like, I never seen it, but I remember seeing the cover for it. I remember thinking, oh, this looks kind of cool. It's been
It's
talked about
weird.
a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. It's good, but
Yeah.
I think you'll like it. It's very, very different from from Hereditary. Like very different.
Oh, it's a whole different movie.
And it's very 80s though, honestly. I don't know. I liked it. When I watched it, I was like, I tried it once and I didn't enjoy it. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to shelf this for a while. And then it popped up on, I think it was Amazon Prime again. And I was like, I'll give it another try. And the second time I liked it even more. So I was like, okay, yeah, this is fine.
Yeah, it was in 1985.
Yeah, it's
And
an 80s.
It's loosely based on the 1922 H.P. Lovecraft serial novel.
Yes.
I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm excited now for this one.
Yeah, it's good. I think you're going to enjoy it. It's very bizarre, though. Like, it's
That's fine. I
very
love
bizarre.
Bizarre works for me.
But the premise is super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, very Frankenstein-y, I think.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Lovely.
I know, and it's just like, I don't know, that kind of stuff is, like, it's just, a sort of, and obviously it's a bit older, but having that sort of, like, I don't know, different sort of Frankenstein-y thing is cool. Yeah, I think you're going to like it.
Awesome.
Yeah, for sure. But thank you so much for joining us this week. This episode was brought to you by our executive producer, Ichabod, who abandoned us a long time ago.
Yep.
We hope you enjoyed your Horr-Gasm as much as we did. Please don't forget to rate, download, and subscribe. Also, like and follow us on Facebook at Horr-Gasm Podcast, Instagram at Horr-Gasm, Twitter at Gasm Horror, and YouTube at the Horr-Gasm Podcast. If you have a movie you'd like us to review, this is the best way to let us know. We hope to see you again next week, because we have such sights to show you. Plenty of Horr-Gasms for you to experience. Bye!
See ya.